Right, first things first, though, let's cover the latest junior golf news. Like we say, towards the end of the season, so some of the bigger events coming have been taking place over the last few weeks or so. Start with England then against Ireland, and under 16s international took place at Carlton House over in Ireland. England won the match 15-9. They actually won all three sessions. Absolutely, yeah, shouldn't really say that.
Sorry,
We're completely impartial here, but
come on, let us have a win. We've just been beaten in the World Cup final. We're rubbish at cricket, so come on, let us have something.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, why not? Yeah, and South Africa weren't involved, so at least we didn't lose to them. So yes, right. Like I say, England did win all three sessions, but the score at the end doesn't give any indication of how the actual competition went on, because, as we remember with the Ryder Cup, on that final day, it got a little bit tense towards the early singles matches, because although Europe in that particular event were ahead, there was always the opportunity the USA were going to come back. Well, like I say, Ireland were behind going into the final day singles in this match. The first 7 matches, though, they actually only lost one of the first 7 singles matches, Ireland. They won 3 of them. So therefore, it was getting there for those last 5 matches. But credit to England, they managed to win 4 out of those last 5 matches and halve the other one. So they eventually won 15-9. Quite a few names which were in both teams been mentioned a lot on this podcast. So we'll just go through them for you. The England team was Sadie Adams, Ben Bolton, Matilda Santilli, Jack Swift, Annabel Peaford, Cameron Mukherjee, Mia Ingham, Alex Bowes, Charlotte Norton, Charlie Rusbridge, Chloe Tabard, and Harry Cox. The Irish team was Olivia Costello, Eva Monaghan, Kate Dillon, Finley Egar, Neem O'Grady, Gordon Sillett, Hannah Lee McNara, Charlie Smith, Molly Campbell, who I know very well, Adam Fahey, Gemma McKeon, and John Dawes. So well done to all those players who played in that match.
Steve, just before you move on, of those names that you've listed there, right, make a note of them.
Yes.
And let's come back in 5 years' time and see how many have made it on tour. I've got to talk up, because I bet it's going to be a lot. Very, very. It's the same names at Chloe Tabard, Ben Bolton. It's the same, the Mukherjees. It's the same names, isn't it, that we keep repeating over and over and over in a good way, in a really good way. And I'm very excited to see how these players perform, because I've seen a number come through in my relatively short time broadcasting golf, the likes of Dan Brown and Marcus Armitage all making it on tour and going on to win as well. So and Richard Mansell I know very well too. So it's really nice to see the next crop coming through, and I'm very excited to see how many of those names. And I must say as well, when it comes to competition, I love the Ryder Cup. I love you know me. I love that sort of match play format. That for me, that's where it's at in golf. But I can handle losing to Ireland. I like Ireland, and I don't mind losing to them. Just don't want to lose to the Americans. But I'm glad we won anyway. So.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, no, you're right, and it's great. At the end of the day, those Irish players will be representing Europe, hopefully, in years to come in the Ryder Cup.
100%.
So they will be our teammates
as well. We'll definitely
absolutely.
Them.
And the Solheim Cup as well, we have to say as well, if they go
yep.
Right. Now we've got a photo of the winners here. It was the R&A Student Tour Series, took place in Ireland. It took place at Olgiata Golf Club. The 2 winners then. Boys winner was Miguel Orza from Italy. He won I'll come to that in a second. The girls winner was Katie Lanigan on the left-hand side there. She won by 1 shot from Sweden's Zlato Zvarsvar. The best British place was Darcy Harry, who finished tied 3rd. But going back to that men's result then, so Miguel Orza beat England's Ben Brooks in a playoff. The scores, Miguel's scores were 70, 69, 70, so 209. They finished level, and then the playoff. Now, the interesting thing about this is that they put down in the playoff the fact that he won on the 10th hole. Now, I hope it wasn't literally the 10th hole of the playoff. They had to go through 10 holes of a playoff. I hope it was the first hole and they just played it on the 10th.
Yeah, that's true. Mind you, I've been involved in a few broadcasting. There's some heavyweight playoffs going on. I remember done Sunnydale Foursomes, I believe it was. Did Sunnydale Foursomes a few times and going to about 7 or 8 in the playoff. It's thinking, okay, well, we'll broadcast for an hour and then, it'll be wrapped up. Well, we've probably wrapped up in half an hour. No, hour and a half, 2 hours later, we're still going,
Yes. Actually, we are going to be talking about grand finals. I remember doing the Fowler Series grand final in the UAE last year, and that went to a second hole of the playoff. Fortunately, in the UAE, they had floodlights. So therefore, even when it got dark, it didn't matter. They could still play the playoff kind of thing, you see. So of course, you can't do that in this country, or at least it's not quite so easy to do that in this country. So
No, not at all.
I don't know. Obviously, that was in Italy. I don't know whether they had floodlights in Italy or not. They might well have done if they had a 10-hole playoff. Who knows? So anyway, World Junior Girls Team Championship. Then this took place. Not exactly sure where it took place, but I think it was overseas somewhere. Won by Canada. They beat Korea. So 4 rounds, 3 players. I think best 2 scores count on each of the day. Only came down to 1 shot at the end of all those 4 rounds. So that sounds like a fantastic competition. The winning team, Canada's winning team, Anna Hung, Vanessa Zhang, and Vanessa Borovilos. The best individual was Denisa Vodkova from the Czech Republic, 72, 68, 66, and then 71. So really good scoring to win that competition.
Yeah, well done, Canada.
Absolutely. Right. Just finally as well, and it started today, so we won't cover the results from this event today, but it's taking place, grand final, the Justin Rose Telegraph Junior Golf Championship taking place over in Portugal, 54 holes. So there's 24 finalists. This 12 boys, 12 girls playing 18 holes on each of the days. This is take place at Quinta del Lago. If you've been to Quinta del Lago, fantastic golf venue. They play on the south course, which is probably the championship venue there. Defending champions actually, Sophia Fulbrook and Dylan Shaw Radford are both returning, so they've got the chance of retaining their titles. But hey, look, you mentioned earlier.
As well, yeah.
You mentioned earlier about some of the under-16s. Well, how about the names who are involved in this? Yeah, this is like a who's who. Isla McDonald O'Brien, Olivia Costello, Nellie Ong, Macy Whittle, Freya Russell, Lila Bizzett, Charlotte Colley, Amelia Wan, Annabelle Peaford, Lila Rose Hunt, Tala Clark. That's just the girls. So not a bad little line of the girls. Boys, Lucas Dennison, Jack Henshaw, Connor Graham, Morton Bailey, Oliver Smith, Max Murray, Jake Wallace. I'll just come to him in a second. Edward Mason, Ben Bolton, who we mentioned a little earlier, and Ben is also actually in the Fowler Series Grand Final as well. So he's having a cracking time of it, playing some international golf. Philip Crone and Joshua Gardner. Now, I did mention the fact that it did start today. I just had a quick peek at the scores. Won't mention what the final scores were from today because obviously they've still got 2 rounds to go. But Jake Wallace, I just looked at his first 2 holes and he was 3 under par after 2 holes.
Oh my God.
Does he like starting slowly, isn't there? You know.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll know what his final score is by the time this goes out, of course. So yeah.
Yes. So you never know. But we might well have a 59 on our hands by the end of But who knows? I'm not going to say any more. That was his first 2 holes. So anyway, right. That wraps up the junior golf news then this week.